Warning: watch this video or you will regret it. One day your hand shakes slightly when pouring water. At first you think it's because of fatigue, because of age, but then it happens again, many times, accompanied by slow, stiff steps and an unnamed feeling of insecurity. That could be the beginning of Parkinson's, a disease that does not kill immediately, but gradually takes away little by little the body's ability to control. Parkinson's is not just a disease of the limbs, but a persistent nightmare in the lives of the elderly. Tremors, slowness, mumbling, loss of self-control. Each symptom is like a layer of chains that bind freedom. But understand it correctly. We can take back a part of our lives instead of letting the disease lead us. What is Parkinson's disease? When the brain becomes silent. Parkinson's is a chronic neurodegenerative disease that occurs when dopamine-producing nerve cells in the brain gradually die over time. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helps control movement. When it declines, the brain can no longer control the body smoothly, leading to a series of movement and behavioral disorders. The disease often begins silently, with small manifestations such as slight tremor in one hand, less expressive facial expression, and a slightly stooped gait. But over time, the symptoms become more obvious. Tremors in the hands and feet at rest, muscle stiffness, slow movement, difficulty maintaining balance, difficulty writing, and difficulty speaking. Notably, Parkinson's does not progress in a flare-up manner, but gradually increases, quietly but persistently. Patients can live with it for many years, but the quality of life will gradually decrease without proper treatment and support. It is worth noting that Parkinson's cannot be completely cured, but only symptoms can be controlled. But the earlier it is detected, the better the chance of maintaining independence and slowing the rate of degeneration. First signs. Your body is warning. Parkinson's does not come with a bang. It starts with subtle signs that are easily overlooked or mistaken for normal signs of aging. Tremor is the most common symptom, usually starting in one arm or leg at rest and lessening with movement. However, not everyone with Parkinson's has a tremor. Some people do not have a tremor, but just feel stiff and slow in every movement. The gait also changes, small, slow steps, difficulty starting or stopping. The patient often hunches forward, does not swing the arms when walking, and is prone to falls. The face becomes less expressive, known as the Parkinson's mask. Other symptoms may include a gradual lowering of speech, difficulty swallowing, insomnia, depression, constipation, loss of smell. In particular, changes in handwriting, small, close-fitting strokes, are a very typical early sign but are often overlooked. When these signs appear, the patient needs to be examined by a neurologist for an accurate diagnosis. Do not delay because each day that passes is a part of the brain cells being lost irreversibly. Who is susceptible to Parkinson's and why? Parkinson's is not a common genetic disease, but some factors can increase the risk of the disease. The first is age. Most people with Parkinson's are over 60 years old. The older the age, the higher the risk. However, there are still cases of the disease from the age of 40 called early onset Parkinson's. Men are more likely to get the disease than women. In addition, people with a family history of Parkinson's or who have been exposed to pesticides, heavy metals, or work in polluted environments are at higher risk. Some studies have also shown that head trauma, prolonged stress, and early dopamine metabolism disorders can also be potential factors. However, the cause of most Parkinson's cases today is still unknown, which is what makes the disease unpredictable and complicated. What's more worrying is that most people don't notice until they've lost 60 to 70% of their dopamine-producing cells. By then, symptoms are becoming more apparent, and treatment is only palliative, not reversible. Life with Parkinson A war without gunshots. Parkinson does not kill quickly, but it makes the patient die slowly every day. They lose the ability to do the smallest things: put on clothes, button, peel fruit, even eat or go to the toilet. The tremors not only cause water and rice to splash, but also destroy the self-esteem of a once healthy person. The state of stiffness and slowness makes the patient dependent on relatives in all activities. This causes great mental pressure, not only for the patient, but also for the family. Depression, anxiety, and the feeling of being a burden are often present. Medication is mandatory, but after a few years, the drug gradually loses its effectiveness, requiring higher doses or a change in regimen. Some cases are indicated to implant a deep brain stimulation device, but the cost is very high and not everyone responds well. However, it is not all doom and gloom. With proper care, regular rehabilitation, and psychological support, people with Parkinson's can live for many years while maintaining relative independence. The most important thing is not to give up. What to do to prevent Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease treatment is a long-term journey. Although it cannot be cured, if intervened early and properly, patients can still live a long and quality life. The main treatment is levodopa, a precursor of dopamine, which helps to compensate for the amount of this substance in the brain. There are also other supportive drugs, such as dopamine agonists, MOB inhibitors. Each person will have a separate regimen, so it is very important to follow a specialist closely. Besides medication, physical therapy plays an essential role. Practicing rehabilitation exercises, increasing balance, coordination of hands and feet, improving gait, voice, and facial expressions. Regular exercise helps slow down the progression of the disease and maintain independence for longer. A diet rich in fiber reduces constipation, low in protein, because protein affects drug absorption. Drinking enough water and getting enough sleep will support effective treatment. At the same time, patients should avoid slippery, poorly lit environments, which can easily cause dangerous falls. And finally, the most important thing is the spirit. The family should be patient, accompany, and encourage. Patients should believe that every day they practice, every time they keep smiling, they can push back a part of Parkinson's shadow. Parkinson's is not a death sentence. It is a challenge, physically, mentally, and spiritually. For the elderly, it is a real nightmare, but it is also an opportunity to slow down, to appreciate every step, every movement. No one wants to live with a disease that makes them tremble, stiffen, and remain silent. But if you have to face it, then face it proactively. With knowledge, perseverance, and love, we can still live a meaningful life, even when Parkinson's is still there.